You let Justin Bieber happen.
Yeah.
We let Honey
You
Boo
allowed
Boo
Justin
happen.
Bieber to be born. I'm ashamed of you now.
But you fought to defend what you mean you could have given up to instead of let happen. What am I trying to say?
Seriously though, they did do a lot, and they triumphed over significant adversity. Even
No
one
question.
of my grandpas was in the war, and his adversity was more funny than it was challenging, but like there's still interviews with him that are online right now of his time in the military.
That's really good to have. That's what I was talking about YouTube just the other day. How awesome it is that we can preserve this stuff. Like, I like doing YouTube a lot more now just because it's preserving my...
Honestly, he's dead and gone, and the most that I remember about him is from that interview. Like, he lived,
I think that is a great thing to have.
He lived half the country away from me for basically my entire life, so I hardly ever saw him.
Well, that's the thing. If you were, like, in the day that we live in now, and the children generations after you are alive, like if they were talking about, like, do you remember our great-grandfather, or do you want me to tell you a story about your great-grandfather, Devil of Mercy? And they'd be like, well, we could just watch his wisecrack conversations on YouTube.
Oh man, if I ever get drunk enough, maybe I will change my name legally to that, just because it would be that funny. Excuse me, sir, do you know why I pulled you over? Devil of Mercy, what the fuck?
What's up with this name? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I was being pulled over, not judged.
You're speeding and you have a fake ID? What the fuck is going on here?
Well, really, they can look back onto YouTube and find your profile on here and listen to conversations like this one that we're having right now. In like 100 years, and they'd be like, wow.
About him, like 2 hours long. There's this interview that he did, and he's telling a lot of his experiences during the war, and one of them was, like, they trained like fucking mad to be as good as possible at all hours of the day, and they finally got in a battle. Like, he was in artillery and they were like really under-equipped, but they had some anti-tank guns, and they got into a battle in Italy, I think it was.
Whoa, what the fuck?
And there was a fucking Tiger tank, I think it was a Tiger, heading straight for them, and this was the only time during the entire war that they had ever gotten an opportunity to actually use everything they've been trained for and fucking shoot at something. Because through the whole war, they'd just been lugging around all these fucking artillery guns and weren't able to use them.
Oh. That's
so
a little sad,
they got to the
actually.
point where this tank is like coming right at them, so they're like, holy shit, load the fucking gun. They get the shell in the gun, they get it on sights, and right when they're about to fire on the gun, these two dive bombers come in out of fucking nowhere and take out the tank.
Man.
And that was his, like, major combat experience during the war. He got a tank that he wasn't allowed to shoot.
Having to kill another human being.
He was
over a crazy
well, he
war.
did get off with a bunch of funny stories though. Like, there was I forget what the name of the town was, but they were camped at some town in I think it was in Spain, like northern Spain or southern France or something like that. Somewhere in that area. And they were camped just outside this town, and they got some leave to just go to the town bar and have some drinks and talk to the ladies and all that. And they got so fucking plastered. They woke up like the next morning and their commander is like standing outside the tent fucking waiting for them. They stumble out and the commander is like, hey, so guys, somebody went into the town last night and stole the mayor's sports car. A big red fucking sports car. Have you guys happen to seen a big red fucking sports car anywhere? And the car is like sitting right next to the fucking tent. And he's like, I'm glad there's no big fucking red sports car around here anywhere because the mayor is gonna be here in a few hours. And he's not gonna fucking see one, is he? So, totally hungover, obviously. They buried the fucking sports car, and for all anybody knows, it's still buried there to this day.
They buried the sports car.
They buried it. The whole...
Why would they bury it?
It was a platoon or company, but they buried the fucking car. There was nowhere else to hide it.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean?
Well, I mean, the mayor would never get his sports car back. That's a...
Well,
I mean, I thought they were going to do like a Ferris Bueller and like...
The entire point of the whole fucking story was the mayor didn't know that they stole the fucking car.
Oh, so they couldn't have acted like, hey, we found the perpetrators and we let them go with the warning and we got your car back. We're heroes. I thought that would be good. Bury the car. Digging a hole, or where the hell would you bury a sports car? Like, I'm thinking, I'm not thinking a big sports car, but back then, Devil cars weren't exactly small like Pontiacs. They were still pretty bulky pieces of machinery.
Well, I know. I mean, it had to be a pretty significantly sized unit. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a platoon at least that he was in command of at the time, and they just fucking made it disappear.
It sounds like an enemy target. We made that car disappear.
He was commanding at the time, but I remember it was enough that burying a fucking sports car from that time was really impressive. Especially with a hangover.
In a few hours, yes, digging a hole big enough to bury a car. What's this fresh pile of dirt, Private? Oh, we've taken up gardening, sir. Gotta start somewhere.
Exactly. I mean, there was a lot of shit like that happened back then.
I wouldn't take that time to get all this humorous stories from. That took me completely off guard that they buried the car. Yeah. Being World War II heroes, that is.
Yeah, and he's not exactly small potatoes from what I understand. Like, there's still a plaque with his name on it at the local armory. So pretty much everybody that's gone through there for stationing or training would know his name. And probably know some of the stories too, and probably some of the ones that I haven't even heard before.
That sounds like a really awesome guy, though, that he was able to make light of such a dark time and be able to still be a humorous guy even later in life. I respect that. world
what I
needs more like
understand, he was a
people like
very
that.
great guy, but at the same time, very, like, he was strict enough that, like, my dad and his brothers growing up would do stuff like they'd try to hide things on him, like keep him from finding out because they knew they'd get into serious shit if he ever did find out. Like most dads from that time, he had a liquor cabinet that he kept locked whenever he wasn't around. So when my dad and his brothers were growing up, they would, because the place that they had this liquor cabinet was right against one of the walls, where the opposite wall had a closet. So his oldest brother would go into the closet when their parents were gone, and he would he took off like a panel or something in the closet, like some of the wall boards or something like that, and then you could see the back of the liquor cabinet, and then he just undid the screws on the liquor cabinet and went in there, and he'd like take the vodka out, and they'd have a few drinks of vodka, and they would mark where it was at the start, and then after they had their drinks, they'd fill it up again with water until it hit the line.
Man, that's really smart.
So, I mean, they were just taking the back off the liquor cabinet, so he probably didn't know what the fuck was going on, but that must have been damn near water before that fucking bottle was empty.